Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Alestorm, Curse of the Crystal Coconut, out May 29th on Napalm Records. This album has 9 tracks, 43 minutes in length, and this is the band's 6th full-length studio album. The Pyro Metal Drinking Crew is back with another record, and to me this album delivers on everything that we've gotten to expect from the band. It's fun, it's metal, it's folky, it's diverse, it's pirate tales with great sense of humor. What else would you expect from an Alestorm record? The album has a lot of diversity, and the first layer of that diversity is the guest appearances on the record. You have Captain Yarface, Alestorm of Subway to Sally, V-Rev from Fintroll, and Patty Gurdy. So you have a cast of musicians on this album that really allows the band to expand both musically and vocally with their approach and with the overall delivery of the songs. When you look at the record, you really have to look at this record from two different levels, because like I said, the album is very diverse and those elements do add diversity to the record, but you have to really look at this album from two different set points. The first is the overall feel of the record. Overall, the album is very concise, it's very linear, very straightforward. You don't feel too many changes. As you're listening to the album, it has great playability. It really takes you from song to song, song to song. And by the end of the record, you really feel like this was an Alestorm record through and through. And it was not necessarily a roller coaster ride. It didn't throw you any curveballs, things that you were not expecting from the band. It's really a very linear path all the way through. But then when you look underneath the surface, you find that the ocean is a little bit more turbulent. You find that the songs are a lot more diverse. The structure of the songs are different. Obviously, the guest appearances change the dynamics of the tracks, how the songs are constructed, and how they're delivered. But the songs themselves feel very unique within itself. This is a record that doesn't really offer you two songs that are similar, that sound alike, that have the same approach, the same structure. So it's a very individualistic record, but as a whole really feels as one. So something that I always felt from the band, but to me in this album, I feel like they were able to deliver it even better. They were really able to create a record that has individual tracks that work on an individual basis, that don't need to be part of a full record in order to really hit the fans and hit the audience with the strength that it needs to. But at the same time, they all still feel like they belong together and they still all work very well in the collection that this record is. So kudos to the band for being able to really pull it off and do it in a magnificent way, perhaps better on this record than in previous albums. Then when you start looking at individual aspects of the album, I feel like you have to talk about guitars, you have to talk about the violins and the hurdy-gurdy, those two elements together, and definitely the vocals. Starting off with the guitars, I really want to say that I really enjoyed the guitars on this album. Not super heavy, but heavy enough. Knowing exactly when you need to add a little bit of weight to the sound, a little bit of a bite to the sound of the guitars, and when you need to strip that away, becoming a lot more melodic, creating a lot more melody with your guitar riffs. Also, the solos on this album to me were magnificent. Really surprising by some of the approach that they took on the guitar solos, bringing in a little bit of an old school flavor, an old school feel to some of them, allowing them to be explosive, to be dynamic, to be melodic, to be heavy at times. I really like everything surrounding the guitars on the album. I felt that they were as diverse as the record itself. Then the violin and the hurdy-gurdy, to me, that's just great combination. When you add these elements, you add a little bit of folkiness to the overall sound, and you add diversity to that same sound. And then not necessarily using them on every song in a predominant way that's in the forefront, that you can feel it, you can hear it. To me, that's also a winning formula. You want them to be an add-on. You want them to be an appetizer. You don't want them to be necessarily the main dish on the record. It takes away from everything else. It takes away from the power of the tracks. It takes away from the humor of the songs, and it takes away from the overall feel that you need in an Alestorm record. So I really like the fact that they used it, but they didn't abuse it. As far as vocals is concerned, Chris is Chris, and he delivers a vintage performance on this record. I really like his approach, I really like his style, but going beyond that, we have to mention the layers, the choirs, all the elements that these guys use on this record, and in my opinion, they really use it well. They understand the dynamic of the song, they understand how the song was constructed, how is this song going to work in a live setting, how is this song going to work just in the recording studio, how can we get the most out of the track, how can we get the most out of the vocals, do we need a choir, do we need backing vocals, vocals? Do we need Chris just to be in the forefront, to lead, to be the driving force behind the song? So understanding all these dynamics really created a very strong album vocally, and then obviously having some guest appearances adds that necessary diversity to the sound and to the vocals that the album has. So I really like the approach vocally on this album. Overall, to me, this album will see the birth of several Alestorm classics. This album is a treasure trove of instant hits. I would be extremely shocked that after the album is released and once it's safe for the band to go out on the road and tour, that obviously at that first tour you're going to get a lot of these songs from this new album part of the set list. But what I mean is I would be shocked if those songs will not remain in the set list as the band moves forward into future albums. Because to me this record is just packed with instant hits, instant classic Alestorm songs that the moment you listen to that song, you know that they have to play this song live because it just calls for it. It has tons of energy, has tons of life. So to me, this is a great record all around, really well put together, really well constructed, and then really well delivered to the fans. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with Chomp Chomp. Great tempo, heavier guitar-driven song, but still very folky and very melodic. The verses have a little bit of a bigger bite to the sound. The chorus, they slow down a little bit more. They change the dynamic of the song, giving the song this sense of start, restart, reset, if you will, by changing the fluidity that the track has between those two momentums of the song. The guitar solo on this track is absolutely magnificent. I'm going to go as far as to say it's the best guitar solo on the album. It's melodic, it's powerful, and it's explosive. It has a little bit of an old school flavor to it, and it just really explodes in melody and strength and power throughout the song when it comes out. Like I said, best solo on the record. I love the hurdy-gurdy bridge as well on this track. They included it, and in my opinion, add a different feel. Coming off of that guitar solo, that very explosive sounding old school guitar solo, adding the hurdy-gurdy there brought the song back into a more folky root. So I like that change. This is a song that's all about the dynamic changes all the way through. Either be the changes between verses and chorus, the way the solo sounds very different from everything else you've heard up until that point, and then the inclusion of the hurdy-gurdy, making the song a little bit of extra special. And if like that wasn't enough, you add Vireth from Fintroll on vocals to close off on a very heavy, strong note. To me, this song is really the synopsis of what you're going to get throughout this record. A lot of dynamic changes, a lot of fluidity. Next, Shitboat. I'm afraid to say that this is my favorite song on the album, but I really feel like this is my favorite song on the album. It's definitely the shortest track on the album, but it's one of the most fun, more party songs that you could put on any record. The lyrics are very simple and easy, but when you have a song that says your pirate ship can eat a bag of dicks, you know you have a hit. And when you sing that line over and over again, it's an immediate Alestorm classic. I will be shocked, once again, I'll be shocked if this song is not only part of the next set list, if this song does not stay in the set list for as long as this band is touring. I love this song, I love this track. I love how hooky, how catchy it is, and let me say this song proves, just like in life, size doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this song is just over a minute. It's an incredible, incredible, fun track to listen to, and I, for one, cannot stop laughing and headbanging and listening to the song all at the same time. Love this track. Next, Pirate Metal Drinking Crew. This is another classic. I really feel like this is going to be one of those Alestorm classics that we're going to see jump out of this record. I love the melody that it has, how folky it is, just enough heaviness on the guitars, not too much, but just enough of it. The song has one of the hookiest choruses on the album, perhaps the second hookiest chorus on the album. I feel like the track really builds towards the chorus. It's a song that during the verses has this gaining of crescendo, it gains momentum towards the chorus. Then when you get to the chorus, the song just explodes in melody. They went with choirs, having a choir of vocals into the chorus. To me, that adds to the hookiness of the chorus because they're all singing in unison, the same lines, creating volume, creating presence, and really adding to that whole aspect of making the chorus very hooky, very catchy. Following the second chorus, the song slows down. It goes into a more folky melodic bridge. So instead of going with a guitar solo, they went with a different approach, but in my opinion, it works really well. It mellows down the song, it brings the song down, it brings the atmosphere down, the energy level comes all the way down, and then once it returns back to the chorus again, the chorus really feels like the middle finger has been given to the listener, because you just feel like the energy just exploded onto the track, and it closes off the track in a much stronger way. By having that more calm bridge there, it allows the chorus that comes after to feel even heavier, even stronger, to have a much bigger presence, because the dynamic change is so drastic that really resets the balance of the listener. Alright guys, this is it. This is Alestorm with Curse of the Crystal Coconut. Once again, out May 29th on Napalm Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.